most often is how does a 53-year-old kid from New Jersey wind up playing a 95-year-old Holocaust survivor from Vienna. My father was a decorated World War II veteran. He received the Bronze Battle Star and the Purple Heart. And when I was a kid, I would, he carried with him shrapnel in his hip all his life. And yeah, I was a little kid. Can I feel the shrapnel, Dad? Can I feel the shrapnel? So I'd feel the shrapnel. I remember one time saying, wow, Dad, you must really hate Germans. And he said, no way, no. I don't judge people by what group they belong to. I judge them by how they behave. And that took a while for me to comprehend. It took a long time. It was about years and years and years. I couldn't get it. Years later, I'm reading Wiesenthal's obituary. He died in 2005 at the age of 96. And in it, they use the phrase of his theory of the rejection of collective guilt. And a light bulb went off in my head. I said, oh, that's what my father meant. It was the highest form of thinking, I thought. So I started being interested in that particular story, his story. So Wiesenthal, I think, is the third one-man show that I've written. Now, connected to that is years later, I married my wife, Amy Opel, Jewish girl. We now have two beautiful Jewish boys, Eli and Miles. Eli just celebrated his bar mitzvah 10 days ago. It went very well. And he always asked me, can you give out our address so people can send gifts? This story, for me, is a very organic experience, considering my father's place in Jewish history, because he liberated a camp called Langenstein. And I grew up with stories of the horrors of what he saw as a 20-year-old. And now I have a Jewish family. I still remain an Irish Catholic, and I'm living in a mostly Jewish community with my family. So it just feels like a very comfortable fit. Out of all, I've done the performances many, many times in different areas, getting ready for this world premiere here in New York. And I often do talkbacks after a performance. I'll come out and just answer questions. And the most fascinating of all of the questions or comments that I got was a young girl raised her hand. It was in Beverly Hills in a wonderful theater called Theater 40. And this girl, a beautiful young girl, she said, did this really happen? I said, yes. You know, everything that I've researched, it's all been checked and all the numbers are exactly right. And why do you ask? And she said, well, in my household, we were told that the Holocaust was greatly exaggerated. And I said, no. Of course, the audience was like aghast. And I said, oh, why do you think your parents would tell you that? And she said, because my great-grandfather was Adolf Eichmann.
Oh, jeez.
Right? The whole audience just recoiled in horror. And I did too. But then an amazing thing happened. What did we all have to do in this room together, in the here and now? We had to practice the rejection of collective guilt. Because this girl did nothing wrong. She came to see the show. Good for her. And now she knew the history of her family. And she said, thank you very much. I had no idea, and now I do. So I felt like I earned my money that night. Okay, so he's 95 years old, I'm 53. And so to prepare for the play, Wiesenthal was bald on top. So on Wednesday, after I think I do my PBS commercial, I'm going to shave the top of my head, like I always do. And he was about 60 pounds heavier than I am. So I've had a specially made fat suit created to go underneath my costume. It takes me about an hour of makeup. I work with a dialect coach to get his very specific Austro-Hungarian dialect and create the character with the help, thank you, Jenny Sullivan, my wonderful director. And I'm sorry that Carolyn Burns, my other producer, is not here yet, but she will be. And I just want to say thanks again to Carol Roth for bringing me to New York. But let me jump into a little bit of the play, and then maybe I'll have time to say a few things thereafter.